Hello everyone, this is Melanie B from Melanie B's Creative Studio, and welcome back to my channel and another episode of Schipper Sunday. I know it has been forever since I have brought you an episode of Schipper Sunday, and I want to apologize for that. It is not because I did not have them recorded for you, but I have been having problems with a memory card reader. I had thought it was a memory card issue, and I bought a new memory card when the last time this happened. All of the videos I recorded were totally corrupted when I tried to download them to my iPad. And I had to order a new SD card and start re-recording a bunch of videos. Well, the same thing happened again with the brand new SD card. And then I finally realized it's the reader that is corrupting my SD card. But the bottom line is I had several Schipper Sundays recorded, and I'm basically having to start from scratch. So what I decided to do was to bring you a brand new kit that I just received from Schipper, and then I'll go back and re-record some of those other videos from kits that I had in my stash that I had recorded for you, and I will just bring you those in the future. But that's why you haven't seen a Schipper Sunday in a month. So without further ado, let's talk about this beauty right here, which is called Carnival in Venice. This is a new release from Schipper for the spring of 2022, and this piece is in fact a collaboration with Schipper. Now, what I want to make sure I'm clear about, when I bring you Schipper Sunday, only a small handful of the kits that I actually bring you have come from Schipper. The rest of them are mine from my stash. Schipper Sunday was my idea because they have such great kits, and I had so many of them that I wanted to just take one day a week and bring you the kits individually and kind of show you their palettes and just show you the quality and all that. This wasn't something that Schipper said, hey, would you take our kits and would you do a weekly, series on them or anything like that. This was totally my idea. And then I reached out to Schipper and was like, hey, would you like to collaborate with me? And they were like, sure. So the first 10 months of videos that you see were all mine, and about 80% of the videos you've seen with Schipper products have all been from my pocket and kits that I purchased. So this particular one is from Schipper and is a free kit they sent me. And I think I've been pretty clear each video that I've done when they've sent me a kit, they provided it for me, and the ones that I have provided myself, I've told you guys that too. And the reason I bring that up is because there seems to be some confusion out there about whether I'm biased to Schipper because they collaborate with me or not, but it's actually kind of the other way around. I loved their kits and had been painting their kits for about 10 months before I reached out to them and said, hey, I noticed you don't have anybody collaborating with you on videos or anything, and would you be interested in sending me some kits and letting me do some videos for you? I just wanted to put that out there. They're not buying these videos by sending me free kits. They're not buying great reviews by sending me free kits. So just want to make sure that was clear. I love their kits because I love their kits. And I've been very honest about which paints are transparent and all of that and whatever. So anyway, let's jump into this kit. This is a 40 by 50 centimeter, which we know is not exactly a 16 by 20 if you go to frame this. That is why the Schipper frames are made just for their pieces. And I do have, yay, a triptych frame that they sent me to bring back on the next video to show you how to frame a triptych. So when I bring you back the frame for the Parrots in the Rainforest I've been working on, even though it's for a triptych, the frame assembly is the same whether you get it for a 40 by 50 centimeter piece or any of the other pieces that you have of Schipper. But for now, I'm gonna open this kit because I haven't opened the box. I just pulled off the plastic. Let's just dive right on in to the Carnival at Venice. So before I get into the contents, let me try to get in a little bit closer here and look at this board. It's always hard to get the camera to focus on the tiny, tiny little gray lines and numbers. Over here, I don't know how close we're gonna be able to get in here. This is some little tiny little openings. Probably some of the tiniest openings I've ever seen on a shipper, but I only see like a few of this size right here. Very tiny. And I only see one really. The rest of these are pretty normal average sizes, and so I don't think this one's going to be too difficult or anything to manage. You know, I always like to kind of take a really close look at it and make sure that it's not going to be tedious, but you do want a lot of detail in your finished piece. The only way to get detail is to have a lot of small openings. So this one has a lot of small openings, but not tiny little openings, which is great. All right, so we have our instruction guide, we have our reference guide, we have our catalog of goodies and goodness, and this should have all the latest kits in it. And then we have our paintbrush and our number stickers for our paint pots. Now, one thing I want to point out, and this is only the second time ever in all of the kits that I have, this one was broken off of the strip. So it's very important to know where it goes in order to know how to number my strip. But somehow, with all the movement coming from Germany, that got broken off. If it didn't have the A on it, I wouldn't know where it went. But because it has the A, I know it goes on this side of that strip, and then I can number them correctly. As you guys know, on the reference guide, we have our number sequences here that's going to tell us how to number these in the proper order. And then we're going to use our stickers to do that, which is what I'm going to do right now because this palette is beautiful. Now, it does contain a lot of browns in here, but it does have very beautiful yellow, oranges, reds, and pinks and purples. But in the normal paint by number world, those would be terrifying. So I'd be super afraid to paint these because they'd be super transparent. And then we've got our beautiful blues down here. So I'm very curious to see how these swatch, because I'm going to swatch them normally, you know, just by painting them on my canvas digital swatch here with my regular paintbrush, so that we know how these paints will react on the surface. But if I was going to paint this piece, I'm so in love with the flow method on the Schipper boards that I've been doing flow method now. But I've always painted this the regular method in the past, and I haven't had any issues with their paints covering. If these were transparent, I would definitely do the flow method, and that would eliminate any issues. But when I swatch these, I'm going to do it with the regular method, and we're going to see how these do. So that's what I'm going to do now, and I'm going to be back with numbered paints and this swatch completed so we can take a look and see how these are going to cover. I'll be right back. Okay, now I am back and I have swatched these paints. There were 30 total colors. Now my palette is still a little bit wet actually, but I wanted to go ahead and bring it to you and let's take a look at this. And I will show you the ones that may give you trouble if you're just going to paint this directly on the surface. And it was number 1, number 2, number 4 was a little streaky. Number 5 and number 6 were also. Now, number 6, I had a lot of trouble with its opacity, but also its streaking. And I did not put gesso on this at all. And I do gesso my shippers, which I have a video about. If you're not sure how to gesso your shipper, there's a different method for me that I use. And that's why I have a separate video for that. And number 14 was a little streaky. The rest of them looked good. Now, if I was going to do the flow method with this particular kit, I wouldn't be worried about really any of those except maybe number 1, and I would just do extra paint on number 1 wherever that white color was, put a little bit more puddling in that area, and that should be fine, and you wouldn't necessarily see that number at all. So that's what I found, but the palette was actually very pretty, very beautiful colors here. And these are always our tricky colors no matter what kit we have. But with other kits, most of these colors would be super transparent, you know, just totally transparent. So in shipper kits, they're usually more translucent, which means that you're going to have some coverage, but not complete coverage. Like you would have total opacity. This right here, you can't see anything underneath. You can't see any lines or anything like that. You might see some line underneath, but a second layer will cover it. With transparent colors, you're going to have to put down a primer of like the gray underneath in order to get it to cover at all. And so there aren't any colors that really require you to do a layer of gray, but you might have to put down 2 layers of some of these colors in order to get perfect coverage, unless you do the flow method. If you do the flow technique, you should be able to just puddle it up and go on, and it should be fine. So I hope you guys enjoyed this kit. This is a beauty. It is totally different than anything I've seen from Schipper before, and I think the colors are fabulous, and it's super vibrant and fun, and so I hope you love it too. I'd love to have your feedback below and what you think of this particular kit from Schipper. Don't forget to check out melanieb.info for all the information about this particular kit. I also will have some of that information below in the description box, some of the tools that I use, my favorites. All those links will be below and at melanieb.info. How to reach me and find me on social media will be there as well. Thanks as always for watching, and I will see you back soon.